Hi, this is part 2. I'm Anna Bobikova. Of course, normal feeling hopeless and helpless. Be angry and mad on people who do not accept that. People who like, oh no, he didn't do that. Each person lost something. So it is a loss. The person wants to be back like, I never heard this news. I want like it was before. And before everything was peaceful, there was one teacher. Teacher was a leader. Leader was a perfect, almost a god. And person wants to be back like nothing happened. It is a new level. When person recover and goes to the new level with the lesson learned here. It's important to understand what is this story is about for you. You need time for that. I believe that Ashtanga Yoga will live for many years. The case is a real story. Sri Patapi Joyce, who died in 2009, he was claimed many times on sexual misconduct after his death. When the presentation, the teacher or in the family, your family member in higher status, like for example your father when you are a kid, present you that this is the value, this is what you have to do, this is how you have to act, and himself act completely differently, like opposite. This creates, of course, like huge feeling, I don't understand, confusion and anger, expectation that somebody will come there and help with everything, like somebody will come there and take responsibility. How the Ashtanga Yoga community was, everybody were waiting almost for 2 years or 1.5 years of Sharat to respond and like tell something about that, and he finally did. And what I can read in his post, he's just a victim. People expect from him, but he is just regular human, as well as all other students who were there. People are humans, and they need time, defense mechanisms, all this anger and denial, defensing, not collapse. Everybody in this circle got triggered. The intensity of getting triggered might be different. Even though people who are on the end of this circle, right, on this large circle around, they might be triggered almost like if you had the sexual abuse or sexual misconduct in your past, then you can, even you are at the end of the circle, you can get triggered as well as victims there inside the circle. For the whole community, it's hard to give the structure for everything because each person experienced that differently. The best model which I can think of for this particular case is Kubler Ross stages of grief model. Why? It might be not perfect model, but each person in the whole picture experiences this differently. But I want to look at this situation as a trigger for the huge community. So, and there are millions of people. So for millions of people, I think this grief stages is the best, since I count that each person lost something. So it is a loss. And when individual experience a loss, individual is going through the grief stages. What people have lost: somebody lost spiritual teacher, somebody lost their practice, somebody lost the faith, somebody lost their main direction. There is a lot of losses, and if you experience that, please comment and what you feel like you lost in this story or because of this story. Stages. First stage, shock and denial. When you just get information, it's like when people first time discovered that he did this. So at that stage, it's what people do. Oh no, it couldn't happen. No, people mix something. No, oh, this video is not correct. Somebody just mixed the video, and it's like to look at that from different perspective. It's not there. His hand there, his hand somewhere there. I cannot believe this. Something wrong. Somebody lies. He is a good teacher. The American Ashtanga Yoga community experienced this shock and denial about 2 years ago. And in other communities, like for example, recently, since I'm familiar with Russian community, I recently opened up, and since they do not know, not too many people know English, not too much of communication, they just start to discover that. And I recently opened up and see that the main teachers kind of, they have to respond to what happened, and they start to respond and they do the investigation. Did it happen or not? Even though there is everything already clear. Shurat did the post, the video is already there with the facts. So, right, but people cannot accept that. They are in shock and denial. This is like, oh, maybe I misunderstood. Maybe did I see it correct? No, no, it's not correct. And remember, when we were talking about the circle, when victims are inside, this is what happens in the beginning, right? Also with victims, when they do not believe, no, this didn't happen with me. Maybe I misunderstood what he did. Second stage, anger. In this particular case, it can look like anger towards him, anger towards abuser, anger towards students who didn't say anything. They witnessed and they didn't say that. Anger towards Shurat, like it's his responsibility to like accept, own it, or something like that. So anger. It might be anger on God, like God, how you, God, let this happen. Then it might be anger toward the teachers in the local studios, like you didn't say us, or you told us something wrong, you are not good teacher. This all anger, it's just stage of grief. Third stage is bargain. What I can do to return everything back. The person wants to be back, like I never heard this news. I want like it was before. And before everything was peaceful, there was one teacher. Teacher was a leader. Leader was a perfect, almost a god, and person wants to be back like nothing happened. Person wants to get false hope like it was before, like everything was very good. Maybe I can find another teacher and everything will be good. But the situation has already happened. You cannot reverse back what happened, even with a better teacher. Fourth stage is depression, hopelessness, sadness, loneliness. This is when people start to isolate themselves, stop to do their practice, right? With the anger and bargain, people still continue to do the practice. Here is usually on the phase of depression, this is where people would stop their practice. No energy for that. And fifth stage is acceptance. The acceptance stage is, yes, I understand what happened, and this is the truth. It's never going to be like it was before. And this is when it is a new level, when person recover and goes to the new level with the lesson learned here. It's never going to be like it was before, but it's going to be different in a way of I learned something new. And I went through the transformation, because this whole thing is transformative. You learn the lesson, and with the lesson, with yoga philosophy, you are going to the next level. Somebody, of course, stop doing that. And again, it's new level. At this stage, it's important to understand what is this case, what is this story is about for you. What is the lesson? What to do? Self-help tips. If you remember that circle, it depends on which level of the circle you were in. You can experience it differently. If you were a victim of abuse, of sexual abuse, it is important, of course, to look for help. And definitely you might be triggered with that if you have any history of abuse. What to do as a self-help? Please give yourself a time to process, time to understand, to find your information, to do your own personal conclusions, listen to people. You need time for that. You cannot make your decisions, and you don't have to right now. Do not isolate yourself. Talk to people, but talk to people who can listen, who can understand, and who do not give advices and who do not criticize. The worst case scenario, of course, if you want to get triggered more, go to internet, get to like some sort of angry discussions, and here you are already triggered. Figure out what stage you are on. Right? These are 5 different stages: shock and denial, anger, bargain, depression, acceptance. I described all of them. Ask your inner questions and figure out which stage you are on. I forgot to say, it's important to understand that it's not you are going from one stage to another and it's only this sequence. You can go back and forth: shock and denial, anger, bargain, back to anger, back to bargain, back to shock and denial. So it's all normal. Again, give yourself time to go through the stages and go back and forth. It's important for you to understand that you are an adult, you are a mature person, and you are in control. You are the one who is responsible and controlling what's going on, and you are in charge. I'm not a victim, and I'm the one who can make changes, and I'm the one who is making decisions for my own personal life. It's important to understand that I cannot control other people. I am the one who can control my life, and I am the decision maker for my life. Other people, I'm not responsible for them, and I cannot control what they are doing. And I am responsible for my inner space, for my clearing up and answering my own inner questions. The questions for self-care and self-assessment. I just came up with a little list. What I can do for myself to make my life in that way which I want. Who is the master of my life? Who is responsible for my life? What are my strengths? What can I change and what I cannot change? What is the essence of this story for me? What are the benefits? What did I lose? How did my life change? How did my practice change? How do I want my practice to look like? What are my core values? What is my direction and my vision? What is my attitude to myself? What kind of help do I need for myself? Conclusion. I believe that Ashtanga Yoga will live for many years. It's just crisis as each individual, each country, everything what's connected to human being has crisis, and yoga also can have crisis. It will be different level, and we are living in interesting time, and it's personal choice to continue or not, and what to take from past in the future. It's important to figure out for you what does it mean to you. Hope this was helpful. Continue your practice. Breathe. This was Anna Bobikova, AB Lifetime. Thank you for watching. See you in next video. Namaste.